We are here with Robin McAuley. He's got a new album out called Soulbound. It's going to be out on February 28th. The new song you've been hearing here on 96.1 KLPX is called Till I Die. Just watched the video the other day, and man, Robin, that video is cinematic. It is big.
Well, thanks. They said, "Hey, what do you want to do?" And I said, I had this. I wanted to channel some of the Motorhead Ace of Spades look, right? And they said, "A cowboy?" And I went, "Well, more like an outlaw." And it kind of started at that bit of a joke. And then I said, "Hey, we need to be out in the desert, something. We need like an old pickup truck. We need something. We need to be chased by something. We really don't know where we're going, but we're chased anyway. And we'll just keep running." And that's kind of, they found the location. And I decked myself out in in my cowboy stuff, and off we went into the desert for a full day shoot, and it was an absolute blast. They wanted a sort of a performance. I don't like performance videos. I don't like standing up there with a whole band and a microphone, and it's all BS to me. I hate all of that stuff. So I wanted something um, a little bit more out in the open air and an old cabin, and they found the location and we took it from there, and we had an absolute blast
So the
doing it.
whole video was shot in one day?
We shot it in one day. We started really early. It was super windy, super cold, and we were out all the way out in sort of Lancaster, um, way out in the middle of nowhere. Um, and yeah, we waited then until the sun up, sun down, and try to get all of those sort of shady shots, and it was cool. It was a lot of fun, and I refused to do you know the stand in front of. I said, no, you just shoot it. If I sing, I sing. If I don't, I don't. But we'll be moving
Oh,
around.
and you do sing in the cabin,
Yeah,
and
in the
then
cabin. Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
and I
and
thought that's enough.
And for those people who don't, here in Tucson, right in the middle of the desert. So for those people who don't realize that, you're wearing all the jacket, they go, why is he wearing a jacket in the desert? It gets cold
Oh,
here.
dude. I mean, that wind was blowing and it was whipping up. It was, yeah.
Yeah,
Kept
it can
losing
go.
my hat. They kept chasing the hat. It was kind of funny. It was kind of funny. My one of my sons, he goes, "Dad, they made you run." And I went, "Well, it was either that or getting a horse, and I wasn't going to do that."
But it's a fun video to watch. And I got to ask you, the song "Till I Die." Maybe go into a little bit about where do you come up with the inspiration for your lyrics
Oh
and stuff
God.
like that?
I don't know half the time, Larry. I'm in the music. I listen to the music over and over and over and over again. Then something in the chord structure will go, "Hey, there's the title right there." And then I just go off on this tangent in the moment. And the actual song is basically continue to do what you're doing till you can't do it anymore in every genre of lifestyle, not
Hmm.
just not just what I'm doing, but we're very resilient and we like to sort of push the envelope and blah blah blah. And I'm not done, as far as I'm concerned. It ain't over till I say so. So till I die was kind of a not a sort of an introspective, but it was kind of my own little story about where am I, where am I going, and I'm not sure I ever know where I'm going half the time. So the video never really goes anywhere per se because that's kind of where my head was at. I'm going, you know what? I'll keep running, and sooner or later I'll bump into something. And whoever is chasing me will just keep chasing me, and it's this, chasing the dog's tail,
Hmm.
But we keep doing it anyway because we love doing what we do. So I don't know if that makes any sense. It doesn't make any sense to me. So
So when you were talking about the music, do you wait for the music to come first and then the lyrics, or do you write lyrics and
yeah,
then
I
look for
do.
music to
I
go with
do.
it?
I do. Sometimes I'll have lyrical ideas that I want to embed into a piece of music because I like the storyline. Um, in this particular case, they threw a bucket load of music at me. I sifted through everything, listened to it, all of it, for a long time, and then I picked my go-to 11 songs that was required for the record. And then I start working. I don't have a magic book of words or somebody goes, "Sing this, don't sing that." And I like stories of some sort of kind.
Mhm.
Then I'll pick a title and I go, well, what does that actually mean till I die, And of course it means different to different people. And then I dig out what I can find and off I go on my crazy little journey, through the desert. And it's a huge amount of fun when you do it and people go, what was that about? And I go, it was probably about 6 months ago. Now I can't remember. Because now you transition into the next song and now you have to come up with something else and I'm always trying to Jeff Pilson when we work Black Swan.
Hmm.
So when I walk into the studio, he goes, "What's the story for today?"
Well,
and he
oh, go
says,
ahead. I'm
"There's
sorry.
always a story. I like a story. I like a story."
Well, I like that too because so much. I mean, I do miss the days of the '80s and MTV and the big videos and all that. But I also the thing I didn't like about it is sometimes the video puts something in my head that maybe lyrically listening to the song, I got something else out of.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
sometimes I like to listen to music and maybe the artist wrote it in a way that was something with their life, but then I'm taking it and putting it into
And
what
I think that's a unique part of writing because it really it really can go any direction. You're listening to it and it'll mean something completely different to you than it will to the other guy or and that sort of stuff. So you take, I suppose, you know, that's the great thing about music. It crosses so many boundaries. And that's why I always tell my kids, who are not kids anymore, but I always tell them, listen to everything because there's so much music. Don't just lock in and go, oh, I only listen to rock music, dude. No, don't do that. Listen to it all. Listen to it all because everybody everybody has a story to tell in their genre of music. And I think that's the great thing about music. It's an open-ended thing. It's like I hate tunnel vision. It's like what's the point in so many creators of so much music if you don't listen to it all? I mean,
Well,
it's
yeah, and I
a
interviewed
chance.
somebody a long, long time ago who said they don't listen to one genre over another because sometimes they wake up and they feel like they want to get a little heavy. Sometimes they want to get a little mellow.
Yeah.
Sometimes they want to get funky. It just depends on their mood.
Absolutely. I mean, that's how it should be. I think it's great. It's just so much to listen to. Listen to it all. It's there. It's
Oh yeah.
so accessible.
Well,
I think you're missing out on a huge amount of listenable, happy, sad, whatever you call it, music. Some of it's so dramatic. I just like the whole thing. I listen to as much as I can. People go, dude, you listen to that? And I'm going, why wouldn't I?
well, and like it or love it nowadays, everything is at your fingertips.
Oh, and that's my point. It's like there, listen to it. You can turn it off if you don't want to listen to it, but give it a shot.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. So tell me a little bit about the new album, Soulbound. It's going to be out in
Soulbound, yes,
February.
yes, February 28th on Frontiers Music. That's all right. This will be my third single. Somebody said to me yesterday, "Oh man, this actually would be album number 6 for you with Frontiers," which I guess it will be because we just finished, not mixed. I just finished all my parts for the new Black Swan, so 3 with them, 3 with my solo. So yes, six records with Frontiers has been a great journey. Um, Record should have been done sometime last year, but I was touring and there were changes at the label and we moved forward. I started writing with Alessandro Del Vecchio like I always do. Then he left the label, and now my new producer and new guy at the helm in at Frontiers is Aldo Lenobile. And Aldo's a great guitar player, great producer, and he's worked a lot with the Queensryche stuff on the label. And so he was sent my direction. We talked, and the whole direction I wanted to go this time was to really push that edgy sound. Use my guitar player Andre Cerveza, whom I just love that kid's playing, and I want to hear more of him, and I want to push him up to the front line of attack, and he plays some amazing melodies, and he's just got that edge to it. And that's how I wanted to approach it. We had everything written, and then Aldo came on the scene, and we swapped, I don't know, 4 or 5 songs as additional songs to listen to and see what we would do. The track Soulbound was actually written by 2 great Swedish writers, Teresa Persson and Jan Ackerson. And the song came to me at the very tail end. It had a demo vocal on it, and I went, it's a little not really my style, but I kind of like the sound of it. So I re-demoed it, changed a few things, sang it with my stamp on it, sent it back to Aldo, and he goes, "Wow, this is great. I think we should do it." And I went, "Oh, I'd really like to do it, and I like the title so much. I think I'd like to use the title as the album title." And he goes, "Whatever you want," and that's how that sort of came about. In fact, I had a really nice message this morning from Teresa in Sweden, and she goes, "I can't believe you did this." So they're happy. I'm really happy that they're happy. So the rest of the songs, the bigger portion of the songs was written by Andrea, the guitar player, and Alessandro and myself. And then towards the tail end, some extra writers like Teresa and Jan came on the scene, and a couple of different people that I listened to it. Some I liked, some I rewrote to suit my style more,
Mhm.
and everybody was happy. And so here we are. We have 11 songs, Soulbound, and I'm excited about it. It's a nice step up from the last two records, Standing on the Edge and Alive. So
Now, you'd
yeah,
mentioned you've been touring through all this process too.
I have been out on the road a lot. I will actually play the Frontiers Festival the third day, April 27th. Frontiers hasn't been able to do their festival for a long time. And of course, we had pandemic in the middle. I was out with MSG. We did a lot of work throughout the year last year. And I just did a Firefest festival solo in Manchester, in the UK.
Oh, wow.
And next week I head to Sweden for more solo shows, and then I think we'll probably do about a dozen or so in the UK, and then I have Spain and Germany, and I also have Monsters of Rock cruise with Michael Schenker, whose birthday it is today. Happy birthday,
Oh,
Mike!
how is Michael? I got to know him a little bit when he lived in Phoenix back in the day.
Yeah, he did live in Phoenix. I recorded with him in Phoenix at one point for the Tales of whatever it was. He's doing great. I think he's playing probably better than he ever did.
Oh,
It's
that's
amazing.
fantastic.
I
Nice
mean,
guy, like very
yeah,
accessible.
yeah.
I worked at a radio station in Phoenix and he would pop in just out of the blue.
Yeah, he's still got those great chops. That is quintessentially Michael Schenker, and he will be out with Eric Gronwall. Here I am advertising Michael Schenker. It's all good. We're all in the same team.
Eric from Skid Row?
And Eric from Skid Row will be his frontman for Michael's 50 years tribute to his years with UFO. So
Wow.
Eric will do all of that. And I don't know what happens with the MSG stuff. Maybe he does that too. Maybe I do it. I don't know.
Well, speaking of you, you mentioned all these tour dates. Any
Uh,
US tour dates?
Um, I keep getting emails to see if there's enough interest. People are going, come to Chicago, come to Arizona, come to the East Coast, and I'm going, yeah, I would love to come to it all. And you know how it is, logistics. I'm using a band called Gathering of Kings who insisted that they be my band in Sweden. And then I have a different band in the UK. And it would be nice to have the same band all the time because it involves a lot of rehearsals and you're going here, there. And then I did a great show down in Sao Paulo in Brazil just towards the end of 24. And I had an amazing band down there who learned the stuff like you were listening to the record.
Oh,
It was amazing. I mean, just nailed it. And I'm going, fuck, this makes my job easier because it's a little worrisome. You go down and you work with a bunch of musicians you've never met, let alone
yeah.
perform with, and they just knock it out of the park. That's just, getting back to you should listen to everything music wise. There's some amazing talents out there, and I always give them a huge amount of praise because they just deserve it. They need to be. Some of them are not even recognized yet, and definitely deserve it because there's some great players out there.
Well, one of the things I've noticed when you deal with musicians versus music fans,
Yeah,
sometimes music fans are hardcore gatekeepers, where then you meet the
that's a
musicians who actually play the music
yeah,
and y'all listen to everything.
yeah, yeah. I guess you kind of need the gatekeepers sometimes because they kind of, keep you in line. But they do get a little tunnel vision because they only like listening to what they want to hear. And if you try to wear a different cap, so to speak, they immediately jump on you and go, oh, I prefer you doing the other stuff. And it's like, well, you know, there's room for more than one song and one style of song. And it's okay because everybody has their fave things or fab faves to go and listen to. Some people only listen to the Beatles and won't listen to the Rolling Stones. What a shame.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree
You know?
wholeheartedly. So,
And so there it is.
how do you keep your voice in
Oh,
shape? I mean, I know of musicians younger than you who have a hard time keeping the vocals that they had in their 20s and they're in their 30s. Your voice sounds amazing still. How do you do it?
I don't know if I do anything. I take care of it, I suppose. Um, what do I do? When it's time for me to go to work, like whether it's recording, or live shows, the pressure's on. I think about nothing else. That's all I think about. And so part of that thought process is how I go about the build up to that moment. Because when you go to the studio, it's a lot different than live. Yes, you step up to the microphone, but it catches every little nuance, and you better know what you're doing. You better be ready for it. Better be healthy enough to do it. I can worry myself sick, as my wife says. I can think about a cold, and suddenly I have one. And so I it's I won't make light of it. It's extremely stressful for me, while at the same time, it's extremely enjoyable for me. So it's that combination of driving myself nuts, will my voice hold up, to making sure that I do everything that I can that it does hold up. I don't know if that makes sense, but when I'm on the road, it's a very different animal. Different elements you deal with. Flying is a killer. Tour bus with air conditioning is a killer on vocals. And everybody goes, oh, typical vocals, always complaining. Yet vocals go down, you got no show. So
Yeah.
so you have a responsibility and a job to do, and that job is to walk out there and give it 100%, not 80%, not 90%, 100%. And so it's up to me to make sure that I'm able to do that. I'm thankful that I still have my voice is still strong. I think my range is even better than it used to be, which makes absolute no sense at all. But I really do take great care of it. I did a Vegas show. I don't know if you know. We did Raiding the Rock Vault for. I was in it for a solid 7 years. I was actually in it for 10. And in my 7 years, I had knocked out 5 nights a week, like 1,500 shows. And that was hard. You're not singing all the time because there's other singers and performers and that sort of stuff. But um, you get into a routine and your voice starts to go, dude, dude, if you need me tonight, you better take a lot better care of me than you're doing. And that's kind of where you go. It's like,
Well, that's your instrument.
yeah, that is your instrument. You have to stay focused. And we didn't never did use auto tune. I mean, I just you can hear it. I mean, unless you're
Yeah.
deaf, unless you're deaf. Um, and we never used backing tapes. We never or backing tracks, as we call it. We never flew anything in. Everything that was there was live, and that's the same as it is today. We go out and we do it, and if we up. You'll hear it because it's live. Is it always perfect? Of course it's not, but we try to get it as near as damn it. I'm a stickler for, perfect pitch. I'm a stickler for sound quality. If I go to see a band and because I like the band, I want to hear the damn songs like I know them. I don't want to hear some other version that's just like because you just can't. So
Oh.
it's I'm a hard gatekeeper too. Yeah, I don't know if it makes any sense, but that's how I roll.
So you had mentioned that you'd be on that what was the cruise? Which cruise were you
Yes,
going to be on again?
it's called Monsters of Rock
Oh,
Cruise.
so what's that like
MORC.
performing on a ship that's going
That's
possibly?
Yes, yes. Anytime, anytime. Um, yeah, it goes out for about 5 days. I think it leaves Miami, leaves the port, and it heads down. I think that sounds very grandiose. It heads down to the Bahamas and comes back around. I think there's one or two stops. And in the 5 days, I think we'll knock out like two shows, and there's always jam sessions because everybody wants something to do. Um, there's a lot of people out there in the high seas floating around.
Is it a great way to hook up and meet your fans as well?
Um, if you want it to be. I mean,
Okay.
you can cloister yourself away if you don't want to. You just want to go and do your job and then hide. Um, there's really no place to hide on the ship.
Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, that'd be probably you're kind of like you're
And
there.
if you don't like it, you know you can't get off either.
So you
Yeah.
got this, the new album is going to be out in February 28th called Soulbound. I think you actually had a copy you showed me a little while ago.
Yes, I have the cover right here. Right
And
here.
so when you go out,
Yes.
how much of the new stuff do you play or and then compared to and do you do kind of like you've got a very big career. I mean, you've got a lot of different bands you've been with over the years. When
Yeah.
you go out and do a solo show, do you kind of do a little bit of everything?
That's exactly what I do. And how the solo thing started was really when we did the last really started when we did the last UK tour with MSG. I almost immediately and we actually it really started in Ireland when we played the Rory Gallagher Festival last year,
Um,
which was just awesome. And a couple of promoters came up to me during and after and said, you ever consider doing solo shows? Because we would really like to book you. And we don't hear a lot of the McAuley Schenker period in the MSG shows. And we'd really like to hear that. Would you be interested in doing it? And I'm going, oh, I don't know. You know, it's not a question I get asked a lot. And so then there were a couple of agencies who came to me and said, you want to, I think we should follow through on this. And I think that people really actually would like to hear these songs. So I ended up headlining a Firefest in Manchester in October. And then it snowballed, had the domino effect thing. And then they went, oh, I could get you about a dozen shows in the UK. We can get you into Germany. We can get you into Spain and get you into Sweden. And I'm going, whoa, 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 whoa. And all they wanted to hear was a portion of my solo stuff um, and a lot of the McAuley Schenker stuff, and even went all the way back to the Grand Prix days. And when we did Firefest, I surprised everybody by inviting the keyboard player and the guitar player from Grand Prix. Keyboard player, of course, Phil Lanson with Uriah Heep, and Mick O'Donoghue, and they joined me on stage for three Grand Prix songs, and it was just it was almost too emotional to actually
oh,
perform because none of us had actually performed a Grand Prix song in 40 years, maybe.
wow.
Had never touched it, never touched it, never gone out, done it solo, any or otherwise. So we pulled it out of the bag, and the band that I was using were just crazy good. And they absolutely nailed it. And even after all of that time, they learned all the nuances, and that's like music from way back.
Yeah.
And the promoters really wanted to hear it, and I went, I don't know if we can do this. You know, we haven't done this before. And I had this great guitar player out of the UK, Keith Attack, that actually worked with John Parr, um, worked with Bonnie Tyler, actually worked with David Cassidy as his MD. So a huge broad spectrum of experience. And he came in with the band, and he spent about a week rehearsing them. I arrived in the UK, and he goes, "Ready? Here we go." And I went, this is crazy. And it was such a great feeling. You know, you're standing there and you're going, can I just listen and not sing? Because it really was that good. It was really that good. And I can't say enough great things about them. So my hope is that we can use the same guys, and the keyboard player from Tyketto, Jed Rylands, is in the band.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
this amazing drummer. Josh Devine, who was actually the drummer from the boy band One Direction.
Oh, wow.
People
Okay.
go, "Oh, dude, he plays rock music," and I'm telling you, he's on a ton of recordings that I do for Escape Music out of the UK. And they said, "Who do you want as a drummer?" And I went, "If I can have Josh, he'd be my man." And he is just check him out online and just look at the variables that he gets into in terms of the music that he plays and performs on. He's a monster. He's
Well,
an absolute.
again, proving once again that musicians often
Oh, dear God.
listen, or a musician may become famous for one style of music, but actually enjoy another kind
Oh
as
my
well.
God, he is so diverse and he's so technically brilliant and he plays like a son of a bitch. I mean, he's like a serious, powerful drummer. So yeah, he one of my not a new find for me. I've known him for a few years now, and he's just awesome. Wayne Banks, who goes out play bass with the classic rock shows, is the bass player, and that dude's got a bottom end like a tank. It's just like you can just feel it resonating, and I'm going, this was a kick-ass band right here.
Well,
So
hopefully,
there's my story. I'm pretty happy. So yes, we cover Standing on the Edge, we cover live songs, we cover a lot of the Macaulay Schenker groups, now the Grand Prix stuff. So it's a well, we could play all night. There's a and until you start and you go, shoot, we have a lot of songs. And you can't play everywhere. You can't play everything, but we try to accommodate what people are going. I hope I get to hear this, and I hope I get to hear that. And you have to balance it, otherwise, you don't want to make it too boring. It's not about us, it's about how we can entertain and give the people up the front what they came to hear. And that's really important to me. It's
so
not
if
about
somebody, Robin, wants to keep in touch with you as far as what you're doing and stuff like that, do you have a website, social media?
yes, yes, you can catch me on my official Facebook page, or and you can catch me on my general go-to Facebook page. You can get me on Instagram. I'm not so much on X or any TikTok or any of that sort of stuff. I should start doing it more because it's up and easy. So definitely all over Facebook, all over Instagram, and of course, if you want Soulbound. In your house, go to Frontiers Music SRL. You'll see all the links on there, and me and everybody else. That's where you can get all your stuff. And I'd be happy to sign anything that you want and get it to you ASAP.
Well, Robin, I look forward to hopefully seeing you in Arizona sometime soon.
Sir,
I met,
my pleasure. I hope I see you there too.
I met
And
you here many,
who
many,
knows?
many, couple
Does that
decades, a
gig,
few decades ago.
yeah, does that gig still exist or?
Yeah, I don't think that hotel that you played at is even around anymore.
No.
But
What was that great little club in Tempe? We played an unplugged set in there. I'm just trying to think of what it was called. The Jug? The Jug?
oh, the jar,
The Jar.
the
I knew it
Mason
was a jug.
jar.
I knew it was a jug or a jar.
Yeah, the Mason
Yeah,
jar
that's
in Phoenix. Yeah,
the
actually.
Mason. Thank you. Is that
Yes.
still there?
Actually, the original owner sold it a while back, and it's now called the Rebel Lounge. But they have one of the best marquee signs that somebody posted a photo. It said, "Yes, your dad's band did play here," and
It was a great place. It was a great place. It
yep,
just, it just,
I think I
just
lived
had a,
there at one
yeah,
point.
yeah. It just had a thing. It was the place to go. It was cool.
Yeah, it was a great bar and a great place, and
Yeah,
it's still around in some. Yeah, it's just not the original owners. He sold it quite a while ago.
excellent. Good
Well,
job.
well, Robin, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy
Oh, Larry,
schedule.
thank you. That was a great conversation.
I
Covered a lot of
appreciate it.
ground, and it was
And
cool.
hold on real quick. We'll get some stuff from you. But again, the new album, Soulbound, out on February 28th. And we've been playing the song Till I Die. And if you haven't gotten a chance, I'll post it on my Facebook page. Check out the video for Till I Die. It's pretty cool.
Yes, and out yesterday officially dropped the title track, Soulbound.
Oh, I haven't heard that yet. I need to hear that.
Yes,
Okay.
lyric video up on YouTube. Go up there, give it a like, give it a share, step and repeat, and play it loud.
I will do all of that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin.
Awesome. Thank you so much.